Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Saturday, the 16th of December. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Well, your betting accounts aren't very, very well if you've been following what I've been doing this week. This isn't going well, is it? This is not going well. I'm chuckling because I don't know what else there is to do, to be honest. Yeah, Brutes. We've had. Thursday was a quiet one, but Wednesday and Friday I got butchered on both days. So I'll do a one root and branch diagnosis and give you my views and my thoughts. But we will try again on Saturday. We'll dust ourselves off and we'll go again. So we've got for Saturday 12, 12 chances. 12 chances. That's what we're going for. The lucky 12. 12 heroes. Who knows? 12 horses is what I've got. 12 races, 12 horses. Split them between 3 Yankees and the best 2 in a separate double. That is the plan. It breaks it down. I think we've got 6 on the all-weather and 6 on the jumps. Jumps 2 in Ireland, 4 in the UK, and in the all-weather 3 apiece. I think 3 Newcastle, 3 Wolverhampton. I mean, I'm coming at you with a quarter of mistaken plans in Wolverhampton. That's how bad it's got. So it's entirely up to you guys. Channel's free. These horse selections are free. Just to reiterate for anyone who's interested, I don't charge for tips on the channel or off the channel. Okay? These are free. They're all free. No one's ever paid me in my life for a tip. Okay? That's just so we're all clear on the same page and stuff. All right. I've happily said I'll get charged and paid for a bunch of things, but what I don't want to get paid for is giving out my horse racing selections like I do on the channel. That isn't what I get paid for. And let's be facing it, who would have paid for this junk this week? Nobody really, would they? Well, to be fair, you wouldn't have known it was going to be junk until afterwards, but there we go. All right. So we've got to do a bit of a bumper video. I don't know if that means it's going to extend to a long video or not, but I've got to do a quick review of Thursday. Friday's review won't take very long because there's not much to review. We've got a mention on the golf. We'll have a mention on the darts that did start, although none of our players are in. And then just a bit of commentary about some of the kind of the winners and places this week from a price point of view, just generally speaking. And we'll, as I said, I'll do a bit of a diagnosis of the stats for this week to see how bad or not it is. And then we'll do through that, and then we'll get into the positivity, and then we're basically going to say, do you know what? Let's can off all this negativity and all these bad results. We don't need that in our lives. We want winning results. So that's what we're going to have. And then I'd say, there's some sort of disclaimer underneath that says I can't guarantee anything. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on. Thursday's review was this. This was Thursday's bet. So we had a place, no good place, 5 on, 6.54 back. So we actually made a £1.54 profit on Thursday. And then we bounced into Friday. Haven't got it written out because it was a quick vid this morning. Stone of Destiny won. I think we had it as 17-2 backed into 7-1 on the channel. And Paddy Pie was placed. That was it. I had 14 losers. And when I say losers, none of them really were that close, with the exception of Make Clear, which also was Southwell, same as Stone of Destiny. And very strange, that one. Backed it on the channel at 20s. It drifted out this morning to 50s. And then right before the off, a lot of money came down because it went straight into 11s, and it wasn't money on the exchange either. It was money driven through certain bookmakers. But yeah, it 6 o'clock race was 5.58. It was 22-1, and then at 5.59 it was 11-1. So there was a right chunk just went down before the off. Anyway, wasn't quite good enough because it was fourth, wasn't it? So for the week, for the day yesterday, that's £30.50 on 7.98 back, so a loss of 22.50. That puts us down for the week 41. So not great at all. Last week we were down 40. Bear in mind the 4 weeks previous to that we'd made like several £100. But yeah, 40 down last week, 41 this week, and there's 23 on Saturday. So in the context of this year, the two worst fortnights the channel has had, one in September, one in February, we had 101 loss over a fortnight and 103 loss over a fortnight. So if we lose the lot on Saturday, that would be 104. So worst case scenario after Saturday, it would be just slightly make it the worst fortnight on the channel this year. That's where we're at, folks. I mean, from a strike rate point of view, yeah, awful. So I've had five horses frame out of something like 31 selections, just so far away of what is normal. And it happens. It's just to be clear, it does happen. I know most people get that. It happens to everybody. Everybody has good runs. Everyone has bad runs. Some people's good runs are better than other people's good runs, and some people's bad runs are worse than other people's bad runs. But yeah, in terms of a short period of time from a strike rate point of view, that's pretty awful. I think I'm 1 from 9 this week UK jumps. So I've only put out 9 horses on the jumps this week on those 3 days, and only had 1 place, which was Paddy Pie. I've got 4 more of those coming at you for Saturday. Irish jumps, I've only backed 1 horse on the channel this week, and that place. So we're 1 from 1 on the Irish jumps. I've got 2 of them. And then when you look at the all-weather, it's a mixed picture. Chelmsford 1 from 2, Southwell 1 from 2. But then I've got absolutely done over at Dundalk and Kempton this week, and as well as Lingfield. And for Saturday, we've got Newcastle and Wolverhampton. So that's a sort of a brief rundown of the stats and where we're currently sitting. From a golf point of view, Oliver Becker had a good second round. He's 3 shots from the frame. So we'll see how he gets on Saturday. And yeah, that's I think where we're up. So worst case scenario, know where we're at. We'd still have to have a reasonable win to stop it being the 3rd worst fortnight channel. So if you have a big win, it'll all be forgotten, won't it? But yeah, if we just get our money back, that would still make it the 3rd worst fortnight. All right, should we just switch it? Here we go. Positive vibes. So now I'm going to tell you about these amazing 12 horses, right, that I've got all this inside information on. Tell you what, these are, yeah, I've got all my sources on these ones. I've got this source, basically my brain. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because that's basically what it is. That's how you work out how to win or not, unless you're literally paying money from some proper inside information rather than the made up inside information. So what are we going with? We're going with this to start us off. 12:30 Fairyhouse, Temptation in Milan. Needs to bounce back from first time out, but the form last season was pretty solid. So we're taking hope that one can bounce back. Then we've got 120 at Newcastle, Royal Scandal at 14s. 250 Fairyhouse. That is absolutely my sort of horse. Drimsbury lad. 12-year-old. Done a lot of point-to-point racing. I think it's out the handicap. All that sort of stuff. What we got? Conditional jockey on there, claiming 5. Female conditional jockey, and that's important as well. So generally there is bias. So there is bias against age. The fact that it's out the handicap, the fact it's got a female jockey, the fact it's got a conditional jockey, all of those things push the price up of a horse that actually, realistically, has probably more like, I'd say 14 to 1 sort of chance. And you've got 40s there, 50s in places. So Drimsbury lads, we were definitely in with that. And then 309 Newcastle, I have had some debate about Dicky Bird because I backed it last time. And it's a front running horse, and if it gets a good lead, then it's it tends to stay up there. If it's the kind of horse that if there's other horses competing for the lead, then it gets frustrated and you'll see it drop like a stone. But that is the type of how front runners run, right? So if you're a horse runs from the front, you're either finishing the frame or you drop out the back usually. If you're a horse from the back, you either get there or you get stuck in traffic. So you get some sort of inconsistent profile. last time out, I think that horse struggled a little bit to have an outright lead. It's a smaller field here with looking like that is the likely pace angle. The thing that I've and ahed about in that one is it's the jockey. Really not keen on the jockey. So Jimmy Quinn, if you're watching, I'm apologise, but your strike rate in terms of win strike rate has been pretty bad for the last couple of years. And therefore that's not inspiring a lot of confidence in that. I've always said though, if the only thing you don't like is the jockey, that's not a reason to not back the horse. I've plenty of times I've not liked the jockey, and then jockey's gone and done it. So the only thing I don't really like about that is the jockey booking. It's interesting as well. It's stepped up markedly in class as well. So you are on with a much lower weight. Which is why Jimmy's on, because he does lower weights. But we'll see. That is that. Really sold it, shouldn't I? 20p each way Yankee, 50p each way singles on all four of them. Nice and straightforward. 840 is the bet. Sky are best, and then you've got 365 on Paddy, joint second best. And then we've got a joint fourth best. Hills 888, Betfred, Betfair, Betway. The flag for Saturday is of the main types of bookmakers, I would be avoiding Corals and Betfair. Corals have kind of really gone from being one of the better ones to not in terms of extra places. So there's a lot of the races on the weekend where Coral and Betfair, and Ladbrokes, you chuck that in as well, are 3 when lots of bookies are 4. So try and avoid those if you can. And if you're betting in shop, then Hills would absolutely edge it over Ladbrokes and Corals in terms of main ones. If you're in kind of UK, Betfred would be good also. That's bet 1. So that's the joint Irish jumps, UK or weather. Then we've got the UK jumps bet. So we're going 1 o'clock Hereford Lily Glitters 33 to 1. I really like that price. 225 Cheltenham Elvis Mail 12s, 240 Doncaster Geronimo 12s, 315 Doncaster Nesta Park 11s. Pretty confident all of those 3 have at some point appeared on the channel staking plan. 20p each way Yankee. We've got a 50p each way single on Lily Glitters as the bigger price, and we're just going to do win singles 3 times 50p win singles on the bottom 3. 690 is the bet. Sky come out ahead on that one. 365 come out second. Betfred come out third. Paddy come out fourth in my ranking of bookmakers for that bet. That is bet 2. Bet 3. So what I've done is I've taken the best 2 from the first 2 bets, stuck them in a separate double. I'm thinking I might do this a little bit more because it gives you a little bit better variation. So if I've got the best 2, I'll try and pull them out. If they're not naturally in the same bet, try and pull them out in a separate bet. I know it means there's an extra bet, but it does mean you spread it around a little bit. So rather than having an additional double in a 4 combination, it means that those 2 horses have got each other to go against, plus 3 others in a Yankee. So basically, if either of them place, you've got 4 other chances of getting a horse placed with them. So 1 o'clock Hereford Lily Glitters 33s, 250 Fairyhouse Grimsbury Lad at 40s, 40p each way double, 80p. Them 2 placings enough to cover our bets for the day. So that is what we're hoping for in the afternoon. 365 Paddy will give you 4 places, as will Sky, Hills, 888 Unibet, Betfred, Betway. 365 and Paddy, you get best price guaranteed if you do it in the morning, so they edge it. 80 pence for bet 3. And then if it's all gone wrong in the afternoon, we are down to 1 Newcastle and 3 at Wolverhampton. 4:45 Newcastle, 1 last hug at 12s. I was having a look at that 5:15 Newcastle, but I didn't. From a value perspective, it was too tight. It's a conditional jockeys race, and it means there's an additional variable in there for me, and I didn't. There was a few I liked, but I've walked away from it. So 4:45 Newcastle, 1 last hug 12s. 5 o'clock Wolverhampton Crafter 16s. 7 o'clock Wolverhampton Mayan. Those 2 are much better with 365. If you're watching this after upload, like straight after upload, you can get 25s and 14s on 365. Much better, but still happy with those prices. Mayan 15-2, and then 8:30 Wolverhampton, a channel regular, which, I mean, this week been doing my nutting. There's a lot of channel regulars who I've not backed who have then gone on and won when I didn't think it was their time. Drive me potty. Visibility. How was I not on visibility? Anyway, 8:30 Wolverhampton. Well done, 21-1. Harbour Vision 12-1. So 20p each way Yankee, 50p each way single on Crafter, and then 3 50p win singles, one last hug Mayan Harbour Vision. 6.90 is the bet. Sky Edge It, then 365 and Paddy second best, and then Hills 888, Betfred, Betway, Unibet. Just to reiterate, try and avoid Corals, Ladbrokes, Betfair generally for this Saturday. So that is bet 4. So that takes you to £23 for Saturday. Tips today. Got to do that as well. What was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about big prices. There have been a few biggies this week. It was an 80-1 shot Donald McCain horse. And one on Friday, and there was a couple over in Ireland, 50-1 winner and a 50-1 place, both with PJ Rothwell. So yeah, every time, I've said this before, I go and look back at those prices and try and have a look and think, could I have found an angle on that? The Donald McCain one, the 80-1 one, the only way you'd absolutely say anything about that horse was that its flat form suggested its hurdle form should have been better, and it was up on. Was it on handicap? I think it was handicap debut. So we talk about this a lot. Handicap debut, second time in a handicap. It's the only reason really you could have looked at it, because on the hurdles form you'd ignored it completely. So it's really hard, because you can't take a flyer on all of these things. Like every time a horse runs on a handicap debut, goes and wins at a massive price. But clearly, if you just looked at flat form, it suggested it would have been better. It wouldn't have been enough for me traditionally to have backed it generally, certainly not for the channel. But there you go, 80-1 winner. And then in Ireland on Thursday, PJ Rothwell, in the two handicaps, the two amateur jockey ones, his second strings, both 50-1, one of them won and one lost by a neck. Both second strings, both on jockeys you've never heard of really. One of them was gettable, I think, on maiden form. But you'd be clutching a little bit. The other one, you really, outside of the fact it's PJ Rothwell and he's got previous for big price horses with no form, and you look at the owners. Sometimes, I don't probably talk about this very much, but it's sometimes useful looking at owners and looking at the history of owners to see what kind of horses they've had before. And one of those PJ Rothwell ones, I think it was something like Mrs. Burns and Friends. Haven't owned a horse trained by much. I don't think it had a horse before, or maybe had one and had it for a couple of runs. But Mrs. Burns and Friends. Mrs. Burns, I don't know who Mrs. Burns and Friends is or whatever it was, but what it makes me think is when I think of Burns, I think of Charles Burns, and when I think of Charles Burns, I think of massive gambles at big prices. Now, the interesting thing with those PJ Rothwell horses, they both SP'd at 50-1, which sort of suggests there wasn't any significant money to move the prices of them. And that's interesting itself. I mean, whether or not some super late money went down in a small place or whatever, because you wouldn't need a lot of money on a 50-1 shot to turn yourself over a good profit. But yeah, if you were backing his horses blind on those two races and almost had two 50-1 winners and one wasn't beaten by a neck, you'd been pretty good. So at the moment, generally price-wise, if you look at the jump stuff, it is outside of these odd, funny, big price ones. Like today, I think, what was it? It was 7-1 was the biggest price outside of the 80-1. So the all-weather is where the prices are at the moment. You look at the all-weather form, and you're getting some much better prices in terms of framing, but flat jump stuff is generally at the moment short price land, but not over indexing on favourites. So it's one of them ones where we've been here before when no one's really winning much, because you've basically favourite backers aren't winning, big prices backers aren't winning because there's some random ones getting in there, and then so the only people it favours is your middle ground backers, if you like. But everybody's different, right? So I know obviously this week's been tricky in terms of strike rate's been awful, and you just literally after loser after loser, and most of them haven't been that good in terms of even close. But I know it's horrible, but I'd 100% still rather do that than be putting out a 5-1, a 3-1, a 13-8, and then get one of them win every few days and ultimately just slowly lose money. So yeah, it is all about value, right? So whether you back favourites, whether you back bigger prices like I do predominantly, value is the key. You need to understand what price that horse should be, and whether that's you believe the market gets it right, because I don't. The market gets it right on some races, 100% it does. There was a couple at Cheltenham, quite a lot of the Cheltenham stuff, the market had it right today actually, but the market doesn't get it right all the time. So people talk about true price being SP price is true price. Well, yeah, that might be the SP price, but that isn't necessarily the true price, because if you've got an 80-1 horse winning a race, then it's clearly not the true price, because it's the 80-1. And there's actually something in there that you could have said it was better than that. So my way of doing things is I write my own prices, so it gives me a guide to know where my point value is. And I don't get it right all the time. The bookies don't get it right. Punters don't get it all right. You only have to get it right enough. And this week, haven't really got it right at all. One winner. I think what we had, one winner out of 31 horses or whatever. Yeah, awful. Anyway, Saturday we're going to smash it. We're going to be rolling in it. I tell you what, these horses are going to be framing left, right, and centre. They're going to suddenly make the strike rate look brilliant this week. That's what's going to happen. Health warning disclaimer going on there that I can't guarantee any of this stuff. And then we're going to talk about darts and then tips to the league. Darts, just a quick one on the darts. We have had no one start yet, but we've had some of the sort of lesser players go, and then Michael Smith made debut, so we had to wait for the kind of preliminary first round match to go on. But he was close to going out in the early round, so he might be ranked world number one. But yeah, I wasn't keen on him to follow up this year, and he wasn't far off. He was 2-1 sets, two sets to one down. And actually the match generally was really tight, 1-3-2. Sometimes people start off a bit slow, and the other dart player had the benefit of already having a match and being warmed up and all the rest of it. But it was a tight one, so it'd be interesting to see how they go for the next few days. And then tips the league. Yes, I should have said that at the beginning of the video. Tips the league. We've got 5 races at Cheltenham, 3 at Doncaster, few house notices, few reminders on the tips to league. But to be fair, anyone who's got this far of the video is probably a regular and knows what they're doing anyway. I'll just say a few bits though. 10-point maximum, 3 horses maximum, no multiples. They have to be in the ITV races. You have to reply to the comment, the tips to league comment, for it to be valid. If you edit your comment, it will count as invalid, because Steve and I can't guarantee when you actually edited it. It doesn't tell us a timestamp on it. So if you need to make a change before the 2 o'clock deadline, you can do that, but you just need to delete your original entry and repost a new entry before 2 o'clock. That's how it works. And if you look at the blurb on the tips to league comment, it shows you the easiest way to write it out that helps me and Stephen track the horses. So when people just write in the name of the horse and expect us to find it, we can obviously find it, but it takes it longer. So in the spirit of we're trying to help you with the competition, you try and help us. Give us the deets, give us the race, the time, the name of the horse, that's fine. And your point value. You don't need to write the price, because the SP is the price that we take for the competition, and the place terms we take for the competition are Sky Bet place terms. So you get favourable place terms for the competition, and you get SP prices. All right, that's that. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not planning a bonus video, but I say that and then you never know, it pops up. But yes, Sunday's racing, Monday's racing, not looking like I'm going to get, or Tuesday's racing, none of that. It's looking like I'm going to get too excited about that. If I find the odd bits and bobs, I'll put it in the comments. But otherwise, I'm expecting I'll be back Tuesday, where we've got 5 days run up. I think we've got the full 5 days run up till Christmas. So we've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 4 days, sorry, I've got a 4-day channel. 4 days, a normal 4-day week. And then the week after, there'll be an extra vid on, because Boxing Day is a Tuesday, so there'll be an extra vid Boxing Day morning. And then in theory, the week after will be the same schedule, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and then either Friday night, Saturday morning. That'll be the usual schedule. So I think the only amendment to the festive calendar, bearing in mind there is no racing on the 24th or 25th anywhere, and the Irish racing stops before that. Certainly the jumps does. Dundalk, I think, is on the Friday the 22nd. I think it's the last Irish one, but the jump stuff sort of tails off anyway. So expecting next week to be a quieter week, and then before we've got bumper week for the last week of December. Okay, that is me. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good luck in the Tips the League competition. Good luck at us destroying the bookmakers on this Saturday with these amazing 12 horses. All right, see you on the other side. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.